Welcome to the award-winning Champions Mojo. Hosts Kelly Palace and Maria Parker are world record-setting masters athletes, authors, and performance coaches that are committed to connecting you with champions and experts from swimming and to other inspiring people and topics. And now, this week's Micropod.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Champions Mojo podcast. And before we get started, we have to say hello to our guest today, Shira Gorin. Hey, Shira.
Hi, guys. Happy to be here.
So, yeah, it's great having you. So this edition of Champions Mojo is the Micropod with quick mojo for you to be a champion. These short version pods are to give us tools to reach our goals. Today, our show has definitely got this mojo for me. I'm so excited. And what is crazy about what we're going to talk about today is something that I have been looking for really all my life. And I did not know it was available until last week. Maria, what is it?
Which is amazing. We're going to hear about it from CEO and co-founder of Zygo, Shira Gorin, who's brought to market the first underwater headset for streaming audio and live communication to swimmers while they're underwater. It's a real game changer, and we can't wait to hear about it. So let's get chatting with Shira about it right now.
Yes. So Shira, before we hit you with our, we're going to try to do three questions in 9 minutes. We won't, we're athletes, so we like to time things, but I just want to set up for my story. And I know that a lot of people relate to this story is that, I am a distance swimmer. Anybody who swims laps, fitness swimmers, regular swimmers, we have all purchased and owned. In fact, I wish you could see my swim equipment bag is littered with the corpses of old Swim P3 players that I've tried to upload, download songs. It just never happened. But the few little times that I've managed to get some songs onto my Swim P3 player and play it were the best swims that I ever had. And so I gave up on it a long time ago. I mean, I tried. And so I just gave up. And now, we always, when we interview, Maria, do we ask distance swimmers what they do? And they say they sing songs in their head. Yes. How many times have you heard that?
Yeah.
We sing songs. Well, I know I'm tired of that. So to hear that there is now a streaming audio product, I am just over the moon. I can't wait. And we've got to get into it. So the first thing that we want to start off by saying, why is Zygo different than other underwater audio?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kelly, you hit it on the head. The biggest factor is that Zygo is the only streaming option. Everything else out there that existed is MP3 players, which now, whether you bike, you cycle, you run, is a relic of the past. Streaming is the modern day audio era. And so for us, that was the biggest factor to crack, to be able so that you can stream audio underwater.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So so anything you can stream, like if I'm doing an audio book, if I have my favorite music playlist, just basically anything, we can stream it and listen
Correct.
to it.
Podcast, audiobook, your favorite playlist. And then also you kind of touched on it. It has a one-way walkie-talkie feature. So coaches can then also coach in real time. Being a non-swimmer before this, seeing the pool deck and having coaches yell and scream and use hand signals and whistles was pretty surprising, just because the real-time instantaneous feedback, especially in swimming when it's so technical, to be able to communicate that immediately on the spot if your elbow's not high or any sort of form correction is so impactful to have it just in real time with your coach and the athlete from what we've seen on the from the coaching side.
Can you tell us a little bit about the comfort and the wearability and how deep it is and flip turns and all that?
Yeah. So when we were starting, again, being non-swimmers and being humble enough to know that there's much smarter and more educated people in the world, we tested it with a lot of Olympic athletes, a lot of coaches who coached at the top, and then also recreational swimmers to make sure that when you did a flip turn and didn't fall off, to basically make it invisible so that it wasn't distracting you from your swim and just trying to enhance your swim. And so the durability was a big factor. The comfort was a big factor. You asked about flip turns. And so on the depth, we're coming out with a buffer so that right now it cuts out when your head's at the lowest part of a flip term, and then it pops back up, just because every inch of depth is a feat of physics. So eventually we'll have like a flip turn version where it'll just be continuous throughout your swim. But if you're just swimming at the surface, the range is about 50 meters. So an Olympic sized pool at 1 to 2 feet below the surface. And then above water, it's about a third of a mile. So if you're doing like above water sports, it should reach you out on open water as well.
That is just amazing. And Shira, as an entrepreneur myself that sells a product, I've heard these are just selling like crazy, and your company's doing extremely well. Tell us, what it takes to be successful. I mean, the fact that you're a non-swimmer and you came up with this thing and you brought it to market, it's been successful, is just blows my mind. I mean, it's an obvious need, but tell me, how have you managed to succeed? And that, the rest of us business owners and entrepreneurs, how can we learn from you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys know firsthand too. Like, so I played soccer in college. So while not a swimmer, still having that athlete's mentality, I think has been the biggest piece of kind of a skill set that I didn't know what it was building for, just in terms of being disciplined, constantly feeling like you're swimming upstream against all currents against you. And I think the biggest piece that I've learned is just being resourceful. And knowing what you don't know. So when you know what you don't know, you can ask other people who then lead you somehow to the answer. And it's not really about knowing everything. In fact, I'm not an engineer. I wasn't a swimmer, but you can find people who can help you along the way. And so I think that like tenacity and resourcefulness is probably just the biggest piece of success. And we're still a bit nascent in our journey. So the success is still TBD on where we land, but up until now, I think that's probably been the biggest factor for us in terms of getting to where we are.
So, Zygo, how did you get the name, and how can we remember that when we're out there and we are telling our friends, we're like, oh, you've got to get this product. It's named, like, give us some. Anchor that for us. Give us something that anchors the Zygo so we can get it out there.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you where the name comes from. So it uses bone conduction, which sits on your zygomatic arch. So when models have like very high cheekbones, that's a very well-defined zygomatic arch. And so we took the word zygo from that because we thought it was ownable and it had the word go in it, which we felt was like active and fun, and a Z is a fun letter to have in your logo, and so you can just say like wherever you go, Zygo. So that's kind of what we take it with you that way and remember it.
Oh, I love it. And really the thing that we try to do is for everyone through Champions Mojo is to get them out there performing, getting fit. And I promise people, if they're bored of swimming, tired of swimming, this is going to be a product that will be life-changing. And that's why we're so excited to have you on the show to talk about this, because here we are, totally submerged in the swimming community, and we weren't even aware of it. So I know you're kind of stoning it. You don't want to get hit with too many orders and not be able to fill them. But hopefully after this show, you will be. So if we want to get our hands on this, where do we go? How do we do it? And what would you suggest is kind of like the entry, like this is what you need to do? Walk me through, because I'm going to be next in line after we get off this call. I want to get one.
Yeah. So you can go on shopzygo.com, or our Instagram is Zygogram. And you can check out some of the stuff that we're doing there. The first step would be to order a unit. And that comes in a charging case. You have your headset, you have the transmitter, which also has that one-way walkie-talkie functionality. Once you set up Bluetooth on your phone to the transmitter, everything else is easy. So whatever you play from your phone goes directly to the headset. And then I'd be remiss not to mention, we have an app component that's completely optional. We have a 2-week free trial, so you can check it out. And we have about 300, 400 plus workouts, everything from, an hour traditional, more masters type swim with sets, all guided workouts with music.
Wow.
Or if you're more of a recreational swimmer like me, who's still a little bit of, a fish out of water, and learning, we have fun swims that are paired to music, or like a 30-minute interval training set, or like a learn breaststroke basics. So it's everything from advanced to more beginner level, really trying to take the intimidation and the solitariness of swimming out of it. So it really can welcome everyone. And then eventually next step is metric tracking, lap counting, so that once you finish a workout, you have all that data and you can gamify it in the same way that some other connected fitness incumbents have done, and makes it, again, more fun and more community driven as a sport.
That sounds incredible. How long have you been at this?
Inception was 2017. We've only been shipping since September of 2020. So about 18 months in market.
All right.
Awesome, Shira. Yeah. So last question in 10 seconds. What is the number one thing that you have learned out of bringing Zygo to market?
That swimming is an amazing workout and I love to do it.
Great answer.
What a finale. Can't beat that. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
So we have one surprise ending here, that after we stopped recording, Shira gave us a gift for all of us here listening at Champions Mojo, and that is a 15% off code. So when you go to shopzygo.com and you enter the code MOJO15, you'll get 15% off.
And
So
we're about to,
Maria,
as soon as we get off,
we are
this is
going,
what
we're getting
doing.
off. We're going to order our Zygo as soon as we get off this show. So, all right. Love you, Maria.
Love you, Kelly. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Champions Mojo podcast with host Kelly Palace and Maria Parker. Champions Mojo is produced by Cabra Media, and a new episode debuts every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Follow Champions Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Champions Mojo.